Cool. Now that we've done that, let's try create a currency conversion one. This is the one that we saw online, but I think it's good to go over and talk about this again. So a unit conversion. So we're gonna do a unit conversion. So let's say there are some facts. There's some facts. Let's say there are some facts such as okay, centimeter, centimeter to a meter is you times by a factor of 100. It's going to be stored in a tuple. It's going to be stored in a tuple. So centimeter to meter. It's going to be stored in a tuple with a factor of 100. And then a meter to a kilometer. It's going to be stored with a factor of 1000. You can do something similar for seconds. So how many seconds to an hour? It's going to be 60. And then, well, not an hour actually. So it's going to be a minute. 60 seconds in a minute. And how many minutes in an hour? It's also going to be 60. So let's say we have some facts and then later we want to do a conversion. So we want to convert, let's say I want to convert 100 centimeters to meters. What will this output? Well, um, let's say if I want a conversion of 100 centimeters to hours. But this makes no sense, so this is going to be a big fat X. So for these two, we want to have a parse fact. First, I think we want to have two different functions where our first one will be passing the facts in. So we'll be taking in a string float. So let's say from unit, and then we're going to go towards the unit, and then the multiplier. Let's just do some typing in here. So we're expecting a string for this, and a float from multiplier. And then lastly, we want to do a actual convert one, where we'll be getting a value. So this will be a float, our from unit, which will be a string, and our towards unit, which will also be a string. This will return a float, if possible, or none, or float or string. Um, how would I actually write that? Python function returns either a float or string. What do I write for typing? Okay, so it's either going to be a float or a string. And then for this one, we will not be returning anything, I don't imagine. Mm, so this will be functions in the class converter. Now, one way that I can see this is that we can use a series of nodes and edges, where a node will be a specific unit, and then we'll be connecting these nodes using edges. These edges will contain the multiplier, and then we can do a graph traversal of these, either probably using BFS, because we want to see every layer to see if the unit can be converted. If we do check all the edges and the unit cannot be found, the target unit cannot be found, that means that we cannot convert it, and then we'll return the string. So we need to initialize our edge classes. So what I'll initialize for our edge look like, it's going to take a to unit, towards unit, and it's going to take in a multiplier. So self.toUnit is going to be toUnit, and the self.multiplier is going to be the multiplier. And then similarly, we're going to initialize our node class. So def init, initializing our node. It's going to take in a name for this unit. Yeah, that's going to be it. So this unit is going to be unit, and it's going to hold outgoing edges. We're going to store it inside an array, and then we're going to have a function called addArray, addEdge, where this is going to take in a unit, to unit, as we have to find up there, and a multiplier. We're first going to create the edge using the passed in variables. And then we're going to add this to our node. So self.outgoing edges append edge. Cool. So this is going to be a list of edges. I just do some typing so I just know what I'm actually looking for. Cool. So let's get into our pass fact. So we're going to be getting in a from unit, a to unit, and a multiplier float. Oh, so first things first, we want to keep, when we first create our converter function, we do want some, oh no, these are all missing self. We need to reference itself, yeah. We want to have a mapping. We want to store all the mappings inside a dictionary. For now, that seems fine, so we can actually find which node it is. So for our passing fact, if from unit not in self.mapping, we want to create a new node, and it's going to take a unit, so from unit, then we're going to add this, into our dictionary. Yep, similar to that, if the to unit not in self.mapping, we also want to create a node from this and do self.mapping to unit towards the node. Now, if we're sure that these two nodes do exist, we can now add them at the edge. So it's from unit.add edge. Oops. So let's do a node in question. So from node is going to be self.mapping from unit, and our to node is going to be self.mapping to unit. Now we want to add, well, this is a node, and this is a node as well. So from node.add edge, and we're going to add, what are we going towards? We are going towards, let's actually add the to node here. That might be a bit better. So we're actually expecting a node to come in. Yeah, and we're actually expecting an integer to come in here. That's crazy because this is literally your stuff. Okay. What? Can I not create a node in itself? Okay. Weird. That's alright. So we're going to add the to node to that, and we're going to add the multiplier. That's actually going to be the inverse of the multiplier, because let's say centimeter to meter is 100, but we'll actually be dividing by 100. So how many meters in a centimeter is divided by 100. Cool. So we're actually going to add, yeah. And then similarly, we want this to be bidirectional. So the to node is also going to have an edge towards the front node, but with a proper multiplier this time. So this should be good. Yeah, that looks good for our parse facts. Now let's get into our convert. For our convert, I reckon since we're going to use a BFS, we're going to use a queue. So from collections import DQ. We're going to using, oops, I did not spell that right. From collections import DQ, and then let's set up our queue. So queue is going to equal DQ, and then for our first one, we're going to queue.append. We're going to add in our from unit. But remember how we're going to use this the node rather than the string? So it's coming in as a string, but we need the node. So we're going to do self.mapping from unit. And then before we do this, we do need to check if this actually does exist within our dictionary first. So if from unit not in self.mapping, we're just going to return no facts exist. So we're going to add in the queue, And then we're gonna add one more in. Actually, let's add in as a tuple. We're gonna add in the top, the, the value as well, which is gonna be the running total. So while our queue exists, we're gonna pop left. So node and running total is gonna equal queue.popleft. It's gonna be a FIFO queue. And then now this is where we're gonna do. Wait, first we're gonna check if node is equal to 2 is equal to self.mapping to unit. Then we're gonna return the running total because we have successfully done it. Yeah, we also need a scene. We also need a scene set so that we don't go backwards. We can do it in here. So scene.add node. If node, cool. So for edge and node dot, what did we say it was? It's going to be outgoing edges. Outgoing edges. Can I do it here? Okay. Maybe I just need to both. For edge and node dot outgoing edges. If edge dot to unit not in scene, do q append edge dot to unit and the value and running total times edge dot multiplier. But if our queue ends without finding one, we're going to return unable to convert. Cool. So let's try it out actually. So converter, we're going to create a new converter class. Converter dot parse facts. So from unit it's going to be cm, to unit it's going to be meter with a multiplier of 100. Let's try that again. Just do one more. So from meter to kilometer, it's going to be 1,000. Second to minute, it's going to be 60. And the minute to hour is going to be 60 as well. So if we do print converter dot convert, let's say I want to convert. Let's do a direct converter first. So let's do one. Let's how many yeah, cm to meters. It's gonna be our first test. Second test is gonna be where it goes through 2, so kilometers to kilometer. Let's do one for seconds. So 60 seconds. How much is 60 seconds in minutes? And 60 minutes in an hour. And then we'll try one where it is not possible, so from centimeters to hour. So if you run that, let's see. Oh wait, just because those are overlapping. Oh. Let's see. So 1 centimeter is 1 meter. 1 centimeters is 0.001 kilometers, which is correct. 60 seconds is 1 minute. 60 minutes is 1 hour, and 100 centimeters cannot be converted to an hour. How cool.